Okay,
Perfect.
it should work. So, hello everybody, and welcome to my presentation today. It's about tulips, horticulture, that is a branch of agriculture, mainly growing vegetables and, in the case of the Netherlands, cat flowers. And the world's very famous auction and other things that are connected to this small country, but an incredible country, which is the Netherlands. Before I start, I think it's going to be around 22, 23 minutes, my presentation. I just wanted to inform you that today in Europe and in many countries in the world is an important day, is Labor Day. It's a national and international holidays. I think in the United States and in Canada, it's just celebrated in September, the 1st of September, but we celebrated the 1st of May. And it's about to celebrate the achievements of the workers. And in this particular moment of our history, I think that we all realize that there are a lot of underestimated workers that are actually so important. In Germany, they call them systemrelevant. I think you call them like essential workers. And without them, so people that work in the healthcare, people that work in logistic, in food production, in food deliveries, all these people that take care of our mail, our post, that still open the schools and institutions, these people are very important to us. And we celebrate them today. So also it's my occasion to say thank you to all of these people that are helping the world to just go on in these days. So now I would like to start, and I chose the Netherlands because the Netherlands is a country that is just incredible. There is a quote about the Netherlands that is, God created the world and the Dutch made the Netherlands. And I will explain you why. And we go now on the presentation, and then you will find out what I'm talking about. So again, the map of Europe, and Berlin with the little center is where I am talking to you from, northeast part of Germany. By the way, in the beginning of the week, I did a presentation about an area in the northeast of Italy, the area of Venice and the Venice Lagoon. And it was about this fragile ecosystem, how it is also affected not only by climate change, but also the tides. So the sea is an important part also in the history of Venice and in the development of this fragile lagoon. And now I take you to the northwest of Europe at the North Sea, so another area where tides and level of the water and also climate change plays an interesting part, in an area that was in the past known as the lowlands. The coastline, you see the Netherlands and Belgium, that area was in the past called the lowlands. And we are going to be in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a small country. It's really a small country. If you compare it to the size of one of the United States, it is, I think, twice the size of New Jersey, 16,000 square miles. So it is really a small country. And a lot of times when you talk about the Netherlands, that means literally the lowland, because of the fact that the highest part of the Netherlands is 150 feet above sea level, and around 25% of this territory of the Netherlands is actually lower than the sea level, and I explain you why. But a lot of times when we talk about the Netherlands, we used to say Holland, and we know it Holland. But Holland is nothing more than a state of the Netherlands, actually two. If you see it from the map, you have at the coast of a state that is called North Holland, and down below Sweet Holland. So North Holland and South Holland. These are two states that belongs to the Netherlands. So we used Holland, the name Holland, because that is the most important part, at least for the history of the country, the one where the city of Amsterdam is, and so we know it by that. It's a very small country, so I said twice the size of New Jersey, 17.5 million inhabitants, and 22.5 million bicycles. So this is something that we connect with the Netherlands. People going around by bicycle to work everywhere. By the way, very tall people, beautiful people, friendly as well. So visiting is also very charming to go around and to discover. But what is incredible about this country is that actually, if you look at the two maps side by side, one is of the 1300 and one is of today, you see that something happened in the Netherlands, and it is that a lot of land has been reclaimed either by the sea or by lakes. That literally means that the people from the Netherlands created their own land to live on it, to do agriculture. So it is a population quite unique because they have an incredible amount of inventiveness, of energy, of creativity. They create new technology, and we see now in the next slides how a system of creating new land is quite complicated, but they started already 700 years ago. At least. Of course, then with technology improving, they came up with a different solution. But in the beginning, the system was to create what we call a polder. Polder is an area of land that would be drained by creating different canals. You see it also in the picture with the windmill and the pump. So by creating these little canals going closer to a windmill, that was the old way to pull the water out and to divert it into a larger canal and then to major river or to the sea. By doing this system, they will create a new land. So literally getting it out, and then with different system of drainage, they will make it dry and then convert it into purpose for housing or agriculture. The major barrier that has to be done is then towards the North Sea. So what we see in this picture are man-made dikes, all on the coast towards the North Sea. As you see, it's such a big engineering project. A lot that had been done, especially after 1953, where there was an incredible bad storm, quite an unusual, a strong storm that hit the coast of the Netherlands at the end of January. It was a Saturday night. People were not expecting such a big storm. And the day after, more than 2,000 people died. 80,000 houses were gone. So they started really to invest all their energy to make these dikes as strong as possible. Over 14,000 kilometers, I think, with my strange conversion, maybe around like 9,000 or between 8 and 9,000 miles of dikes. So the Netherlands was created by the Dutch. Dutch, by the way, is a language, and we call them the Dutch. The language comes from a Germanic language, originated from the old Frankish dialects. But the Dutch, if we just go back and have an idea of the history that they gave also to our modern world, we see them becoming a very important global player in a matter of trade. The Dutch trade companies, such as the Dutch West Indies, are famous because of their history. And in the 1600s, we can really say that the Netherlands, in that time was called the Dutch Republic, They were the first global player in the trade market, and also in the financial world. They created a different system that we still have nowadays, like the stock exchange, for example. And they were all over the known world, importing, exporting goods, selling them everywhere. And for example, from China and Japan, silk and porcelain, from Southeast Asia, spices and woods. From Africa, they were involved also with the commerce of slaves that were also then delivered to different new areas, such as, for example, the Caribbean islands, where there was the sugar production, or in South America, woods and mineral. In North America, of course, you know it better than me. I would like to have a lecture from you about the history of North America and the colonies and possessions of the Dutch and of the French over there. And there was also big commerce of furs. So all this system was done because the Dutch had the most amazing fleet of very effective ships that we are talking about at their high time, 10,000 of these ships. And so they were the unbeaten commercial power during this time. What is very important when you are thinking about the Netherlands at the time is not only that they were going to have contact with different countries, so they had to be prepared to just do good deals for merchandise that they were trying to sell and to buy, but they also had very good diplomatic contacts. And one of them was a very successful one that happened in the Ottoman Empire, so what we call nowadays Turkey or Syria, that area. And the Sultan there were very used to beautiful object luxuries, and a lot of times diplomats will go to visit on official mission the Sultan, and they will have people with them, merchant, artist, scientist, botanist, and they would go and just discover new things. And what was very fashionable in the middle of the 1500s in the Netherlands, in the Ottoman Empire, was the flower of the tulip. Tulip, if you look at the hat or the cover of the head of the Sultan, it almost looks like a tulip. In the Turkish language, turban is tulbent, so there might be maybe a similarity with the etymology of the word. But nevertheless, these tulips and these new flowers were so exotic, so different, that you needed to have like the right person at the right moment getting maybe the right product. And this was this gentleman, Carolus Clusius. He was a botanist, and through some bulbs is the beginning of the plant of the flower of the tulip. He got some bulbs from the Sultan and the ambassador to Vienna, so to the city of Vienna. He took them with him to Vienna, where he was assigned then to become the director of the medical botanic garden of the emperor. And he started to study the bulbs. And then in 1573, he moved to the Netherlands. He was appointed as a professor at the university. And he studied these particular flowers, and introduced them to the people of the Netherlands that were rich, were merchant, they had enough money to enjoy, and so they wanted just to get more and more and more. And this is the things that happened that we call tulip mania. So now comes a short video about it.
In 1554, the Roman ambassador to Turkey brought the first tulips from the Ottoman Empire to Europe. The flowers had pleasing colors and a unique appearance. Tulips became popular, and merchants started making handsome profits from trading tulips. But all tulips weren't equal. Multicolored flowers with streaks and lines were rare and prized. Tulip bulbs take years to produce and don't live very long. Holland, early 17th century. Supply remained limited and demand exploded. Prices skyrocketed. Depending on temperatures, tulips only blossomed for 1 week in April or May. That's when bulbs were actually traded. The rest of the year, cultivators and investors speculated wildly. Holland, 1637, the peak of tulip mania. A house costs the same as one single exotic tulip bulb. Many analysts consider tulip mania as the first ever economic bubble, and like all bubbles, it was set to burst. When no buyers showed up with actual money, prices collapsed. Some made fortunes, but thousands went bankrupt. Steps were taken, laws were passed, and people forgot. But history repeats itself over and over again.
So, tulip mania in this slide is called tulpomania. This is a picture that I've taken while I was visiting a garden of Keuchenhof, where I will take you at the end of this presentation 4 years ago. Here is written tulpomania. But what we have heard that 1637, this new exotic, everyone want to have flower, just skyrocket with the price, and you could buy today with a comparison for one bulb of this very expensive Semper Augustus, either a car, a Porsche, or 300,000 bulbs. I would like to have the RV. Nevertheless, this flower growing and this bulb flower production started to be a business in the Netherlands. And when we just do a big step forwards nowadays, we can, for example, see here that we have a total of €1 million, and with the exchange rate, it will be around $750 million exported value of flower bulbs around the world. But now it's a little chapter that I find it amazing about the Netherlands. Remember that I told you it's a very small country, and here also if this slide is not really perfect, but you can have an idea about the land use. You have 16,000 square miles of land. You have to use it in the best way. Also with the reclaiming of the land, you increase the surface, but then the area in brown is the one that is interesting for us because it's about agriculture called horticulture and cereals. And this is what makes this country amazing, is that if you have seen the small little area and then you read here that they are the second largest exporter of vegetables in the world, you think, how is it possible? It is really possible, mainly because of a high technological way to approach agriculture. If you see these slides, it's a very small part of the Netherlands and is mainly an area where we have greenhouses. This is a view at night, using then the growing period of the flowers also, or of the plants, of the vegetables by night, and a high technological system. It looks kind of scary to us, maybe, because we think about farming as like open air. And I'm also like an old-fashioned person. I like permaculture, organic food. So, but look at this video that it's coming up, and then you might get more input than what I'm saying to you now with my words.
Holland is pretty crowded. Our land is quite expensive. Labor is expensive. So we have to be as efficient as possible. We have to be more efficient than others to compete. And that competition drives innovation and technology.
We decided to go for not more hectares, but for more yield per hectare. And that's the moment that we start looking into precision ag, precision technology. A lot of people think it's science fiction, but it really is not.
We have only 14.5 hectares and we're producing around 100 million tomatoes a year. The idea about this greenhouse is we even use less water, we use 50% less energy. Our tomato plants grow in a hydroponic system, so we know for sure that everything is clean and we can steer everything very precisely. We use all the new techniques and all the innovations with a minimum impact on the environment.
My definition of precision farming is doing the right thing on the right moment, on the right place. Of course, we're more sustainable because we use less input, and that's economically good for me. We use a range of technology. We are using soil scans that measure the soil quality and the availability for nutrients in the soil, and then the thermal cameras can detect diseases or water stress. Implementing precision farming is a way of getting a better yield and a better quality. I still believe that farming is the job of the future. There will be more people, more amounts to feed, and less area. We have to expand the yields of our food that much that we actually need the precision farming to do that.
Sometimes sustainable solutions are costing a bit more on the short term, but on the long term they should be more effective, and that's actually what we are seeing. You need to have the guts to invest in those kind of things for the long term.
So actually, this video surprised me because I was looking for a video against the greenhouses. I was looking for a video that was trying to, to advertise the way I think it's maybe a good way, that is organic, small, permaculture, all these kind of things. It is still the way I think, but nevertheless, I cannot close my eyes to in front of the fact that in the Netherlands, in one of these greenhouses, high technological greenhouses, they are working on having the possibility to cultivate area using the area of the desert to produce foods for people that maybe will never have access to food and are starving. So it's for the students among you that are going into a scientific or technological study afterwards or profession, check the Netherlands. It's really a place where to go to look for inspiration and maybe for ideas, or also to study there. And now we just go to the end of the slideshows and the presentation. It took me a little longer, as you see. Sorry about that, but I was really into that. I wanted to share it with you. I take it to the flower auction of Aalsmeer. Is the largest flower auction in the world. It happened daily, apart from holidays. And you can go to visit, by the way, also with groups. And it's an incredible, again, technological system. It's like a smooth machines going on. It's an auction that has a system that is based on the reverse way of what we think about as an auction. So the price starts as the higher price and then goes slowly lower to the minimum price that, let's say, the producer aspects for his product, and you just have to be very fast to give your bid, and that's the reason why all these gentlemen are sitting there at the computer. Once these flowers are sold, they go directly to be prepared and shipped all over by a land in Europe or by cargo airplanes then all over the world. So a flower that is sold there can be 24 hours later at the other part, of, like in, I don't know, say in Dallas, and be sold there. What happened these days is because of this crisis, millions of unsold flowers at this auction. Think about it, that they sell around 20 million flowers a day in this auction. And now you can imagine that because of these lockdowns worldwide, these are the damages that this flower auction is experiencing. A great opportunity is when you are in the Netherlands to go to visit different gardens. There are many of them, and it's a lot of times it's a combination about landscape art and modern technology. They organize always incredible garden exhibitions, fairs. The largest one will be in 2022. And a lot of people are working also connected to this industry. Remember, it's a lot man-made, so you will not find like untouched nature in the Netherlands. And the one that it is protected. But you find a lot of other way to go around with nature, also to, for example, to have this installation, modern art in the middle of a garden. And one of the places where you would go this season, in this time of the year, is it opens in the mid of March and ends then at the end of May, is Keuchenhof. Keuchenhof is a garden not far away from Amsterdam Airport, and it is an idea that was in 1946 that started by flower growers that wanted to showcase their products. And for this year, they prepared it with 7 million flowers that were planted there, 1.5 million visitors expected, and they canceled it completely. But what they still do is they invite us to go there for just a short stroll virtually. And this is where I'm taking you now to just end my presentation. To finish, I show you my garden, our garden. Some years ago, we rented a house in Italy. We tried to make our flower garden with wild plants, and that was the result. But this is our balcony here in Berlin today. So we give space to wild plants. We have no idea what is growing. The trees that you see there at the end has been planted by birds. We have a small little at the end of the balcony, you see teeny tiny, is an insect hotel. So we really tried to plant something for the wildlife in Berlin. And it's also our contribution to the environment, also with the lockdown. I go to the supermarket, the organic supermarket, and I buy here organic, it's called Bienenschmaus. It's our organic seeds for the bees or for the butterflies. And so that's it. I just leave you with a quote of a very nice musician, Tom Petty, about wildflowers. You belong among the wildflowers, you belong in a boat out at sea, you belong with your love on your arm, you belong somewhere you feel free. Okay, thank you very much.